citizen MKO says, hold on to your dreams.
Well, when things happen, you need to adjust to reality of the times. Sorry, we are starting the program a couple of minutes behind time because of the very strong conversation that was going on. I'm sure you were enjoying yourself, and it's something that we cannot fail to also lend our voice, and that is having to do with the transition of the immediate past president of Nigeria, General Muhammadu Buhari. But before we go into all of that, here is welcoming you to Open Forum, which is the MKO, and Open Forum is about people, about issues, we are about ideas, and we are about solutions. And as we say, that wherever this flag is flown, we take care of our own. Today we're going to take care of our own, a number of issues, the guest, a very important guest, which I'll give you an update on that, and then tidbits, because this is a town hall. Certain things you might have not heard, or you have heard, you're going to hear it, and those who have not heard it are going to hear it maybe for the first time on this program, so it will help you make sense of whatever is going on in society. I am citizen Matthew Kofi O'Connor. I am a productive advocate, I am a reformer, and I am just an ordinary citizen, but with extraordinary drive of patriotism. On today's program, we have a guest, which I'm going to mention right away, and then give you update on our conversation this morning after we have made arrangement for him to be here. And our guest today on the program is Sir Esang Nsabasi, KJW. He is the President General of Oron Union, and as you know, Oron Union and Oron people in general are in the news. They are in the news, and that has got to do with one of the issues that we started last week, both as in part one of it, which is the 2025 public hearing, a National Assembly public hearing for the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended. And then matters arising is the demand for the creation of Ogbolo State with Oron as its capital from the present Akwa Ibom and Rivers State. We will give you more updates on that. And just to let you know, I spoke with Sir Esang Nsabasi over the weekend. It's the first time of my speaking with him. Guess what? At first call, he picked my call. One rare thing that a number of persons in high positions do. We've never met before. I introduced myself. I introduced our program, Open Forum, and what we do. I don't know if he's aware, but he gave his consent to be here. But very early this morning, very early this morning, I woke up to see a message. He has a very critical meeting scheduled for 10 a.m. and he has promised that if that meeting ends even by past 11, he will be here by 11:30. In the alternative, we may have to make a special arrangement, and I thank God my producer is here. My producer, we may have to make a special arrangement for Thursday, where I'm always here as well to share thoughts, because of the importance of having to give opportunity for people to hear from a source, a critical source, one of the critical agitators for the creation of Ogbolo State. We may have to make a special arrangement on Thursday to host Sir Esang Nsabasi, President General of Oron Union. So if he's not here today, that's the alternative arrangement that I have suggested, which he has also bought in. And thank God my producer Juliana is here. Thank you so very much for producing us, and then for nodding, because you are going to be the anchor. We are going to do it jointly that day.
It's a real pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, having said that, I want to also let us know that the upper week we are going to host the President General, another President General of Eke People's Union, Dr. Samuel Udonsak. We are going to host him, and possibly maybe with the secretary of the body, talking about Honorable Barrister Basidan Abia Jr. They are going to be on open forum, the upper week. So, this is what we do. It's a platform for dialogue where we try to balance ideas because we are about people, issues, ideas, and solutions. And guess what? You will hear some of the things we did last week, which is our tradition to reel them out. But I need to make that announcement so that it will guide you for those that have heard or seen our announcement that we are hosting Sir Basi. That is the latest update. And for some persons, somebody in particular sent me a very nasty comment on social media. In fact, it wasn't even to me privately, just put it on the platform, alleging that I'm trying to give ethnic jingles or whatever you call them opportunity to be heard. And I take exception to such. Open forum is about people. And if there are issues that involves whatever critical issue, you'll find us there. We are non-partisan. And when it comes to even the matter at hand, those that tuned in last week, they heard some of the roles that I have played. And by the grace of God, we are going to document this for posterity. Some persons don't know what some of us have been through serving Akwa Ibom State. That a number of critical areas, critical issues, some of them very, very sensitive. When you look inwards, and for those that know, you find Matthew Kofi O'Connor's name and, in fact, his signature in some of those things. And you may not know this, but you ask questions. Since we don't blow our trumpets, we will let you know. So for anybody that feels that other people should not be heard, you are patently wrong and you are a danger to society. People must be heard. You dialogue and get things resolved. So we are balancing the act. Last week, we were supposed to have the President General of Eke People's Union, but he was not in town. And so we scheduled and agreed that the upper Monday that he was going to be with us. So we'll have, we'll have had the Dr. Samuel Udonsak first, because I was trying to get contact of the President General Union. I could not until over the weekend. I also tried to reach out to the president of the Oro Bolo movement. It's somebody from Rivers State. And the person that promised to send me the number also did not. There's nothing we can do than to keep pushing, and that's what we have done. So thank you so very much. I hope to take time to do that, to guide us properly, and then to know that if you are a victim of anything, you have a platform to be heard. If you are oppressed, you have a platform to be heard. If you have been denied justice, we are justice accelerators. If you lack ideas, we are the Ideas Bank for development, state and nation building. And we say that with all sense of responsibility. Having said that, we want to quickly run down to our focus, the things we're going to do. First of all, let me just take this. First of all, we have our food for thought and thought for food, which is customary for us. We cannot miss this because the Yorubas have been saying that Toro Basono, Uwela Mfiwa. When you lack words, you use proverbs to search for it. This is more than proverbs. These are sayings that can guide and can give you insight and help you make sense of certain things. And that is to the effect that if government were a product, selling it would be illegal. PJ O'Rourke. I take that again. If government were a product, selling it would be illegal. PJ O'Rourke. I don't want to explain anything. I leave that. It's a food for thought and for thought for food. We, under state of the state and state of the country, we are going to take some tidbits having specifically to do with Governor Moino's payroll reforms. He has also released about 1 billion naira to overhaul facilities at the Victoria International Airport. We'll talk about that very briefly. Take over of he has taken over as leader of APC in Akwa Ibom State, and then we're going to give you updates on the compliance of Senator Natasha to the court rulings between him and the Senate, and then very brief take to Vice President Kashim Shettima's position on the suspension of a governor under a state of emergency. We will also, maybe if we have our guest, we'll take time to look at this, which is the 2025 National Assembly public hearing for the review of the 1999 Constitution as amended, matters arising from the demand for the creation of Ogbolo State from Akwa Ibom and Rivers State, Part 2. We had the Part 1 last week. And then, one that we are going to have today will be the stock taking and agenda setting for an Akwa Ibom without oil. Remember, we're running a series. This is indeed, in fact, is the 36th edition. In our program, I think we left it at 34. Is the 36th edition of our series. We want Akwa Ibom State to be run as a third world state. I mean, a state, a first world state in a third world country. We have all it takes. And we've been running that, and we are very intentional about that, and posterity will bear witness that we brought out ideas that can help our leaders to reposition us so we don't depend on federal allocation only. And today, which we don't know last week, we are looking at the hospitality and tourism industries in Akwa Ibom State and open forum position on the bill for a law to establish Akwa Ibom State School of Culinary Studies and Hospitality Management. And those are the things we are going to look at, all of them in tidbits, but that of the oral union, if our guest comes, we'll suspend everything and we'll take that. Otherwise, we'll have some more facts on the position paper that we presented having to do with the establishment of a culinary studies, School of Culinary Studies and Hospitality Management in Akwa Ibom State. Usually we give a rundown of what we did last week. We won't fail, but I'm going to jump on them very short. We have thanked His Excellency Governor Moino that the message he sent to the Senate public hearing that was held at 4 Point Sheraton at the Kodekbene. He said that the Constitutional Review is an important moment in Nigeria's democratic journey, and he appealed that it must lead to restructuring of the country. And we say here that that message was asked, and we further add that something should be done to pursue it. It's not enough that we make statements just to address the team. We must follow up with the position paper. Talking about position papers, I want to note, I have not been able to find somebody who was there that could give me full updates. I was indisposed. I would have loved to be there. Presentation of papers are not only done by agitators. They are not only done by agitators. They are done by governments. Akwa Ibom State government. I remember, I think 2021 that we were in Rivers State. Akwa Ibom State government presented a position paper. This is not just a speech that was read and it ends there. So I don't know if Akwa Ibom State government presented a position paper. I want to appeal when the phone lines will be open. Let somebody tell us what was it, what was the content. And so, because we have seen, I think in Kaduna State, is it Kano or Kaduna, the governor there, they want a state to be created. And they want about 22 or 24 local government areas to be created. The position of the state government made clear by the governor. So, in Akwa Ibom State, what is, or what was, or what will be the presentation? Because the public hearing for the House of Reps sitting is going to be held in Cross River State, I think, this weekend. So what is, or what will be, the position of Akwa Ibom State government over issues slated for amendment? We've also said here, please, the person calling my line should not This line is being used to stream. I plead with you, if you have my private line and you know my schedule, please don't call. You are disrupting our streaming, please. Reminder, we are streaming live on Facebook, on Open Forum, which is an MKO, and we're also streaming on Memories 965 FM. Please don't call my private line. Do me that favor. I beg of you. We also said that it's regrettable that National Assembly public hearing on review of Constitution has been turned into a mere ritual. Same issues repeated at every outing without tangible outcomes. It is very frustrating. I've been part of a number of them. We also presented papers, Open Forum presented paper. One in 2021 or 2022 or whatever, we presented a paper there. The same issues are back. Oh, and it's not to write home about. And a lot of money is being spent. And if it doesn't produce results, it means those monies are wasted. Then agitations for state creations, we say they are constitutional. And so like we try to say that we are going to give the Obolo people opportunity to be heard. Obororo and Obolo people, which we have given today, we are still going to extend it maybe up to Thursday, or even whenever they'll be able to make it. Though on the upper Monday, I'm going to host exclusively the Ibibio people to be led by Dr. Samuel Udonsa. But what we have said is that it is legal, but a number of factors comes into play. And what is that? Clearly, in the case of the Obolo state movement, they have made clear points that they are marginalized. That's why they are demanding for state. Oro people have hosted key Oro leaders on this program. All of them said the same thing. I've hosted Akitauju Tatoyo. I've hosted Prince Chris Abaseyo, very renowned sons of Oro. Uchu Tatoyo was a former state chairman of the PDP, former chairman of PDP in the whole country, former chairman of Local Government Service Commission. Chris Abaseyo was the commissioner for information, the youngest ever in the history of Akwa Ibom State to date. His record has not been beaten. And he was also a one-time chairman of Oro think tank, seasoned persons, and they were categorical that Oro is marginalized. But then they have a deputy governor. That's another story for another day. So we have said that on the issue of marginalization, I've been to Eastern Obolo, I have been to the Paramount Ruler's Palace, and anybody who has been able to get to Eastern Obolo to get to the Paramount Ruler's Palace, you have thought about the state of Eastern Obolo. If you are not pricked, it means there's something wrong with humanity, your humanity. So we want to appeal that we make advocacies for the creation of the Akwa Ibom Oil and Gas Mineral Producing Community Commission. Because Akwa Ibom is like the only state in the Niger Delta that does not have such a commission, where 30% reduction that comes, some fraction of it can be used to take care of those oil producing communities, those ones very directly impacted. And if that is done, if also opportunities in appointments are also given, like they have said, I don't see them ask for a state of their own, because it will be a very tough task. Why? The coastal region is not exclusive to just Chitulugu government areas or even Oro. That was why, by the grace of God, I was part of the team that had to think out of the box or without the box on how we can safeguard Akwa Ibom State as a people. Why? Because during the 2014 confab, those who were responsible for whatever secret agenda smuggled in Oil River State to create a state from Rivers and Akwa Ibom by taking the entire coastline. And Abongota, late Idongesenka, His Excellency, and His Excellency, Chief Nwese Sien, wrote a petition to the Kutuki panel to say it was never discussed. So the issue is not just Obolo State. Some persons outside Akwa Ibom State have started this glamour to take away the coastal region from Akwa Ibom and turn Akwa Ibom to landlocked state. It's not about Ibuno or Eastern Obolo. It's not. So we must first address take care of our home so that God will stand by us. We are fighting that Akwa Ibom State rights should be given in whatever area. So if there are people that have issues, why not? That has been our position, and that remains our position over this issue. So we are going to talk more about this, and some of the things that we are saying, when God gives us the grace as we are praying, we'll document it and we'll make some insider informations that will let the world know that the Biblians don't hate their sisters or brother in other council areas, but that there are greater things to be protected beyond. After all, I've asked people, the Tri-State movement was the biggest contingent when we had the last public hearing in Port Harcourt. Was the Tri-State movement brought forward this time? Oro wants New Calabar State. They came and made presentation. I was there. Both at River State, at Obiwali Hall, and in New York when the House of Reps came here. Did they do that presentation again? There are new thinkings, new alignments, so dialogue must continue so that at the end of the day, quite a few people can say we are one people. Yes, there were issues. Now it's been resolved. That's what we are pursuing. And we'll pursue it with evidence. And then the High Court ruling, we had said last week that whatever is happening, Natasha Senate or Natasha versus Akpabio, they were very unnecessary developments because they were mismanaged. Like other things have been mismanaged, that issue has taken to the dimension where even today we'll give you further updates on what is happening. So the judgment is not even enough to say, oh, matter should be resolved. You see more dance drama, and it's playing out. And we made an appeal that a Timbo, Emmanuel Friday, 4-year-old girl, was knocked down by a motorbike, had fracture on the skull, had the brain surgery. That girl is in ICU. I never even knew that she also had a broken leg. We have not received any form of assistance. We made letters. I want to appeal to those that have received our letters to please have mercy on the 4-year-old little Etimbok. The medical reports are attached to the letters we've sent out to the chairman of the Tinandogu government where the father is from, and to the office of the First Lady. Please, please, we gave out the mother's number last week when she was here. This morning I've been talking with them. They are in agony. They can't buy drugs. They can't do anything. We still make that appeal. We won't stop making it. Our portion is just to make sure that we let these things people have where they can say, oh, I've been heard. Having said that, very fast on the tidbits, state of the state and state of the country. I just talked about the issue of Natasha. Let me start from there. In a nutshell, the certified true copies of the judgment, which the National Assembly said they were waiting for, had been released, is in public. And they have made a statement. Adaramolu, the media and public affairs person of the Senate, has said that as at Sunday, that they will look, they had applied for it, and since I know it's public now, I'm sure they have gotten it, that they will look at it before taking a decision on how to obey. And then we've seen somebody did an article explaining the judgment of the High Court. Binta Nyako headed High Court in Abuja and tried to analyze the judgments because Natasha has been fined 5 million naira for contempt of court, and she's to do publication in 2 newspapers and on her Facebook page. That person has made a disclosure to the effect that Natasha has appealed that ruling over the 5 million naira penalty. Because even when that judgment was given, I remember in one of the statements that were made public, she said that very satire was not meant over the case that was in court being deliberated upon, that it was meant for her private dealing with Senator Akpabio, the Senate President. So if it is true that she has appealed that judgment, because she was given 7 days to comply, 7 days have lapsed, it means that she has really gone to court. So we should not be expecting any apology or payment of the fine until that case is adjudicated upon. But having to do would have been back to the Senate. Yes, the court said that the 6 months duration was excessive, though Senate has the right to sanction its a member. But it was excessive and unlawful because sitting, approved limited sitting time as a legislator or National Assembly member is 180 days. And that is just exactly the same number of days she has been told to stay away. So it is impossible for such a rule to stand, and that is so because there are several other judgments. In fact, one of the judgments against sacking or suspension of a legislator, the judge said you cannot do it beyond 14 days. So despite the fact that the Senate rule does not have the timeline, it is impossible to deprive people their representation. Impossible. It was excessive. Absolutely was excessive. And since there are other cases before this, I think it should be handled. So Natasha has written to the Senate that she's resuming on Tuesday. So between today and tomorrow, we should be expecting update on that very development to see if the Senate will allow Natasha to go back without their own special apology they said she must give. Thank you. We leave that and we quickly jump to Vice President Shettima at the book launch by the former Attorney General and Attorney General Commissioner Minister for Justice Adoke. He said, while commending the author too was launching a book to clear his name about the allegations over OML 245, which has been very controversial, all block. And then the Vice President made a statement that got a number of persons shocked. And that's to the effect that Adoke was Attorney General under Jonathan, and Adoke was the one of those that told President Jonathan that you cannot remove a sitting governor while implementing a state of emergency over the security that plagued Borno, Yobe, and I think Kebbi also. About 3 states were involved. And that the president cannot even remove a councillor by law. So it's unconstitutional. And he thanked Adoke and others for that. And that sent a signal that yes, Rivers State, their principal Tinubu, President Tinubu, removed a sitting governor or suspended, whichever term you want to use. Whether suspension or removal, they are the same thing. It is illegal. And we have said here, whatsoever transpired, whosoever were responsible for those things, they are placed in history. Even the National Assembly, they did not vote according to the law. Individual votes. It wasn't a voice vote, they did a voice vote. And those have not helped matters. But that is neither here nor there. The reality is that that has been seen as Shettima distancing himself from the suspension from office of Fubara. And no amount of explanation has been able to make nonsense or try to address that. Like his aide has said, he didn't mean that. He was giving historical perspective. If you don't know that 2 times 2 is 4 and 2 plus 2 is the same 4, and you may not see that in any other calculation, it means there's something wrong with your capacity to reason. So it is just reality, and it shows a more deepening gulf because it's clearly going against what the President and National Assembly and the APC feels was right. He has said it is wrong. By historical perspective, it is wrong. And it remains wrong even now. So let's see how it goes. The presidency has not been able to come up with a press statement as they normally do. You know that already there are issues between the president's endorsement for second term and that of his vice, Shettima. That's a story for another day. And then we go straight to Governor Moino is making reforms. You may not be aware, but for your information, you hear this from the town hall, you've heard it in some other places, you have not heard it, hear it now. Akwa Ibom State government used to use a contractor, a consultant to pay salaries for quite some number of years. Not possibly, I think, from the administration of the immediate past Governor Jimmy Manuel. Governor Moino has brought reforms to it. As we speak, a new payroll reform has been instituted, and a unified payroll system is being developed for the state, where the civil servants, trained people, are going to handle the salary payments. So consultants, the days of consultants is gone in Akwa Ibom State, and that is to his credit and to the credit of the Accountant General and the Commissioner for Science and Tech and Digital Economy, Dr. Ekpenyong, who is really in the show. I think they had a stakeholders meeting over the weekend, and the updates seems encouraging. And they were hitting here and there. Some people couldn't get their salaries on time. I guess that is being addressed. That is what a good reform should do. It has not lasted for months. It was not just a matter of weeks or thereabouts. So we want to appeal to our people, civil servants in particular, to please support the administration of Governor Moino for the kind of reforms which will actually save money. Remember, over 2,000 ghost workers were discovered. And for me, I'm not even satisfied with that, because we should be able to hear how much were involved and for how long those ghosts were there and those that sustained the ghost. Until that is done, there's still a question mark over that. But in the meantime, kudos to His Excellency for the reform in the payroll system of Akwa Ibom State. Still working on actualizing set objectives. We understand that over 1.19 billion has been released for overhaul of facilities at the Victor International Airport. This is an issue that we will personally love to take on in more details, because we are aware that some of those facilities, which His Excellency still be putting money, had been commissioned by the last administration. The MRO was commissioned. The International Terminal building was commissioned. But work has been going on there from day one that Governor Moino came in. And we've been following conversation. We have done a documentary on that. We've not maybe released it yet to public. But what were you saying? That we should be able to be accountable. We should be able to do things that will not make things difficult for an incoming administration. And people are saying, why putting 1 point something billion into overhaul of this and that? I'm sure this has a which bill, what do you call it now? A bill of quantities to be done. And because the governor knows that there are civil society organizations, NGOs, people like us, who are adding value by drawing attention, we will not fail. We will put this out, we will document it to show what was what, at what time, so that we will not give a wrong impression. And I want to commend His Excellency for disclosing how much is being used for the overhaul of some of the activity, of some of the facilities. It is part of that, what we've been calling for, transparency and accountability. A number of very key projects, figures are not mentioned. And it is not good for government, because government belongs to the people. The people are the real leaders. And those in public office are the servants. And that role swap, the error that was brought in by some persons who never wanted to be accountable, should not be sustained by a pro-people administration like Pastor Moino has been trying his best to do. This is one area we encourage His Excellency to do. So by disclosing this amount, it is commendable. So anybody that wants to ask questions, we want to know. It's not Uruai Serekpa. Now, we get to the last but not the least here. The Senate President has handed over the position of state leader of APC to Governor Moino over the weekend. And that's a very interesting development, which means Governor Moino takes responsibility for the issues that are happening in the state within this party, what do you call it now? The APC, which is now the ruling party. And they said something very much fundamental. I think the Senate President said it, that this is a merger, not an acquisition. Merger, not an acquisition. You can Google to find out the difference between merger and acquisition. But something very interesting we must note. Harmonization of interest is key. Since it did not appear that PDP negotiated with APC on terms before the wholesale movement, we've seen a number of local governments where people are struggling to be political leaders. And one very loud one is Ikadekwane, where Senator Ibogesian, former senator, distinguished statesman, said he is the leader of APC in Ikadekwane. And some other person, I've forgotten his name now, said he is the one. And media have carried it, and Senator Ibogesian has made a press statement. I wish I had time to read through it, but we cannot. But he has said he is. And so, it shows they are, it is here and there. Uyo is different. Uyo they had their meeting, and they handed over to the current SSG, Prince Enobonwa, as the leader of APC in Uyo local government area. So other government area, they have issues, even towards. So, that is one of the things that they must try as much as possible to reconcile, so that we will not have issues. And also on appointment, you heard the governor said, oh, we are considering giving out free, what do you call it now, automatic tickets to elected members. You can be sure that people in APC who are angling to have slots in government as appointees and go for election, there is going to be storm. Expect that for real. We don't mince words. We're about people, issues, ideas, and solutions. So it may not be that a walkover for those who are elected or PDP, except who in APC was even in the House of Assembly, except those that have, it's a serious matter. So a lot of homework has to be done, and the earlier that is done, the better. And that is our very common sense we are bringing to the table, so that we will not have issues of saying, where did we get it wrong? You may not believe what will happen if the APC people who were never together, I remember the governor said it was a torn party that is coming to build them. Yes, they had issues. They couldn't even have a governorship candidate during the last election. Yeah, but now they have a ruling party. A lot of adjustment will have to be made. Having said that, we want to, it's obvious our guest is still in the meeting, which we had agreed, we'll see how we can host him within the week. So we are going straight to just giving us a bit of a rundown having to do with the hospitality and tourism industries in Akwa Ibom State. You know those tourism infrastructures that we have. The governor has just built the Arise Park. It's something to behold from pictures. I've just seen it just from the road. I've not entered, but it's a marvel. You add that to the Tropicana that has been under construction now. You add that to the Icon. You go to Ikorobasi, the building that house what is called the Amalgamation House, and that itself has some controversy. We are researching because people in Niger State claim that that was done in Suleja. They even have pictures, they have totems, and we say it was done in Ikorobasi. And that is a tourist attraction, Melislezo, a number of things. And when you look at how much Akwa Ibom State government has invested, you will discover that tourism is likely going to even be bigger than agriculture. That when we talk about revolution, agricultural revolution, which I say is not revolution, there's nothing about revolution when it comes to agriculture in the state so far, because when you look at even the budget, you know that no, that's not where the major money goes to. But look at tourism. Awesome. The airline, we are talking about the hospital to be built now, a new hospital called Ibom International Hospital, 360 rooms, with robotics theater, with this and that. I've just seen the architectural design. It's like a piece of cake. And we say, does Ibom Specialist Hospital even function? They said they are going to work on it and all of that. If the governor has made up his mind to get on that hospital for international medical tourists, that is still under tourism. So,
we have an area that needs special attention. And how do you give that special attention? By preparing the manpower to be able to fit in. And so, on the 3rd of July, the House of Assembly invited Open Forum as part of the stakeholders to come and present their position on a bill for a law to establish the Akwa Ibom State School of Culinary Studies / Hospitality Management and a board, and for other matters connected thereto. And we made our passionate and patriotic appeal in our presentation for the implementation of the Strategic Education Roadmap, AXA 2020 to 2030. We took time, in fact that's where we started from, that Akwa Ibom State has an education roadmap that even had envisaged this sort of school. We are going to see it. I'm going to be very brief here because we are publishing this for all to see. We've submitted it to the Speaker. We are sending it to His Excellency, or sending it to the Commissioner for Education. I personally met with the Chairman of the House Committee and made sure she saw this. I drew her attention to read this because she will be amazed at the inside. Why? In 2020, after the 2019 Education Summit, Akwa Ibom State Technical Think Tank on Education was set up with Professor Hilary Young as the chairman, and it had about 18 or 17 members, experts from different parts of the country, including outside the country. They were there, headed by Professor Hilary Young. No time to reel out. Even the SSG was there. The then SSG, Dr. Emmanuel Kwon was there, Professor Komfo-Dekpo, and so many others. And we also had the technical team, the GESI on-site field survey analytical team, headed by Professor Young as well, with Mrs. Cornelia Akpan, Mr. Miguel Gonzalez, James Mbat, and myself, Citizen Matthew O'Connor, as the community affiliate and the moderator at all the stakeholder meetings. 430-something page report was submitted. 17 initiatives were given out. And part of what has to do with the education, this School of Culinary Studies and Hospitality Management was captured in the report. Specifically, let me read what it said. It said, missing critical fields in public and private tertiary institutions in Akwa Ibom State, as identified by the AKTTE Field Studies Analytical Group, and their criticality to state sustainable development are hospitality, leisure and sports, and entrepreneurship studies. And it went ahead to propose the establishment of 4 institutions, and here they are: Akwa Ibom Sports Academy, AXA; Akwa Ibom Music and Performing Arts Academy, AKMPAA; 3, Akwa Ibom Agricultural Mechanization and Research Institute, AKAMRI; 4, Akwa Ibom Aeronautical and Automobile Machinery Institute. Under these, you will find everything we will need to build the capacity of our students, of our children. Under the critical sectors, under the hospitality stuff, it was clearly also captured as well. Thank you so much, and thank God for Inyene. The reality is that we keep on reaching out to certain persons. We have solved a number of problems. When people respond to letters sent to them, it makes things work. This is very encouraging. That's why we are appealing over the 18 months issue. 4-year-old girl, she is in ICU. The parents have exhausted everything they have. So we want to beg you to please reach out. I don't have the mother's phone number right here now. I wrote it somewhere. Let me see. I would like to just give out the mother's phone number, not my phone number, so that you can reach directly to them. We need help for that girl. Please, as much as possible. Our time is fast spent. The number is 081 2466 0612. I take it again. 081 2466 0612. That's the mother to Itimbok, Mrs. Rebecca please, you can call her, reach out to her so that you can see what help you can give to help Etimbo. This is the size of today's program. And if you are led to support what we are doing, the number to call is...
Oh.